here with Dr. Dave Curby. We're going to talk on a number of different subjects, and would like to start with Beat the Streets in Chicago. You're now the executive running that program, and just talk a little bit about how things are going with it and the kind of progress you're making with wrestling in inner city Chicago.
Yeah, I think we've got a lot of exciting things that we're doing right now. A lot of them right now using human capital. We've run a lot of clinics this fall. We had some outstanding coaches coming in, volunteering their time and giving. 5 Big Ten programs were represented, in addition to the coaches from the colleges in Illinois. We've had some coaches certification clinics. For instance, today, back in Chicago, my colleague Riley Reese, she's getting buses for over 200 Chicago public school wrestlers to attend the Iowa Northwestern meet.
Oh, that'd be cool.
It's been, things like that have been awesome. A couple weeks ago we had Minnesota at Northwestern, and Jay Robinson talked to about 50 kids. Such an inspirational speech. I was ready to either go practice wrestling or join the Army. Didn't know which one, but he was so inspirational and the kids loved it. We're cooking up some more programs. We've tried to get mats, etc. We've been using even used mats. You know, in some of the cities, something as simple as shoes is necessary. So I've been trying to reach out. Obviously, everything's money, but that's something that we really do need. I encourage people to come to our website if you want to get in contact with me. It's btschicago.org, btschicago.org. We need volunteers, whether it's lending their coaching experience. We need financial backing. We'd love to get some more mats and more programs started. We've started a few youth clubs in some of the rougher neighborhoods in Chicago. I'm coaching one at St. Sabina's with the famous Father Flager. It's a tough area, but the kids are wonderful, and we're trying to bring them wrestling. One more thing I'd like to mention, March 2nd, we're going to be hosting the BTS Chicago Rally for Wrestling and the first annual Terry McCann Wrestling Awards celebration. We're going to be presenting awards in his name and others. On that day, we're going to be, Wayne Boyd we're going to be showing his movie, Blood, Guts, Glory Wrestling. We're going to have Bobby Douglas there. We're going to give his biography that Craig Sesker wrote to every one of our head coaches in the city, and Bobby will give some of his remarks. And so we've got things like that. We're going to give awards out in some of those great names of Chicago history. As I mentioned, Terry McCann, Werner Holzer, Donald Rumsfeld. We've got the greatest probably coach of Chicago history, was going way back into Tilden Tech days, but he won 27 straight city championships between 1945 and the 50s. His name was Robert Hicks. And so we're going to try to bring that history back and build from there.
So with Chicago, you're not starting from scratch, but there's a whole lot of kids in a whole lot of areas that don't have wrestling.
Exactly, you're exactly right. There have been some huge high points in Chicago. I mean, Mayor Daley Youth Foundation, what a club, and a lot of the kids wrestled there. The Chicago Park District used to have wrestling at every one of their field houses. And a lot of the kids, even kids from the suburbs, came into wrestling Chicago. And that, for whatever reason, has declined. Now, one of the exciting things that we've been able to do, I've been able to meet with some of the Park District people and help them get some programs started, and I can see that there's some excitement, and I've spoken with people at a higher level, and if we can get them to get those wrestling mats back in these field houses and get coaches, we're going to really take off.
So let's switch to another activity. The Curby Cup, the Greco-Roman event you run in the Chicago region, a big international event. It's become a real highlight of our schedule every year. What are the plans for this year, and how are things going? Obviously, that event is held in honor of your son.
Yeah, well, we put a lot of work into that. We try to take a step up every year. It's scheduled this year for May 10th, and that's a Saturday. And we're right now in the process of trying to get teams from Iran and Russia. And we've got good contacts, but it's problematic sometimes in getting Iran to be able to come, whether it's because of political considerations or money. Russia, sometimes there's such an elite Greco team. It's sometimes maybe worth their money to maybe travel so far for this competition where they can just go, across a border into Belarus or Ukraine or what have you. But Momir and Steve Frazier have gotten some great contacts, both in Russia and Iran, and we're hopeful we can bring something like that off because. Especially with Iran, the great history that our two countries have gotten going, especially in freestyle wrestling, between them coming to New York and us going to the Curby Cup, etc. We'd love to get that going in Greco-Roman wrestling as well between our two countries.
So you're obviously very active with the Scientific Commission of FILA that do an annual update, but you guys have also had a real series of meetings and talk about how that has grown and continued to develop where the scientific part of wrestling is being explored worldwide.
Well, it's been a struggle, an uphill climb. For whatever reason, wrestling science has not really been developed as far as maybe in other sports. There have been a few pockets and some great individual contributions from some scientists maybe in Russia or Raiko Petrov in Bulgaria, but as a whole, there hadn't been too much sharing. A number of years ago, I started an international organization called the International Network of Wrestling Researchers. Now we've got over 300 members worldwide. Probably every top scientist that works with wrestlers or wrestling teams is with us. And we've been able to, we started publishing a journal, of which I'm the editor, the International Journal of Wrestling Science, a very high-level academic journal. We try to make things practical for the coaches because you want to bring science and apply it to the sport.
Right, in the room and on the mat.
Absolutely. But we're trying to do more of that. Maybe because of these efforts, I was named to the FILA Scientific Commission, and we've had meetings, we've had some symposiums. We were a very successful one in Budapest this past year, and I know that President Lalovich was quite impressed, and he's told us he's going to support us 100% in our efforts, and so we're really feeling good about that.
Now we're at the Dave Schultz competition. Jacob wrestled here. He
number of times, he's been a champion here before, and some great memories, and of course he passed in 2010, so a lot of his teammates are still going.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's really great to see them and their families here and catch up and see all these wonderful people. But that group of guys that Jake was part of up there at the Marquette, Michigan, the USOEC, that first group, you just name it, Spencer and Fetterman, Harry Lester, Robbie Smith, all those guys, Jake Fisher, Cheney Haight, and just all great guys. And it's great to see them, and they had some great success yesterday.
So, do you ever have time where you're not doing something in wrestling? It just seems like you're one of those positive people that like to make a difference, and it's really spread out into a number of different things lately.
Yeah, I think as I've sort of retired from being an educator, for pay, it's 24/7 wrestling, whether it's the science or the promotion of wrestling, and it's with this turmoil that we went through this past year, it's a very exciting time. But we can't sit back and rest on our laurels. We've got to work hard. We've got to promote and expand wrestling. It's the 6th most popular high school sport, but our coverage and our attention is not commensurate with that statistic. So we've just got to keep working the entire community, do things like El Bevilacqua, get our registry for wrestling, all the former wrestlers, so we can keep in contact and keep these people involved in the sport and aware of what's going on.
Well, hey, thanks for an update on everything. I'm glad to have you here, and I know we'll be talking as we go through with new projects and new successes.
Yeah, thanks so much, Gary, and thanks for all you do for wrestling.
Appreciate it.